You need a knife to score the toilet for the existing caulk. You need the wrench to undo the nuts and the bolts. Cleansing product for after installation and during installation to clean the surface area. Putty knife to remove all your pre-existing wax ring and existing caulk. And you're always going to need a couple of dirty rags to throw away for cleanup. Wax ring, nuts, bolts, screws, all that good stuff. Here's the old Mansfield original to the construction of the house. It's a plunger style toilet, and the problem with it right now is doing a double flush. So instead of 1.6 gallons per flush, it's actually doing 2.4, which is wasting water. So I'm changing it out to conserve it to go to our eco-friendly 1.6 and 1.1 gallon per flush. Alright, first things first, we're going to shut off the water to the toilet and remove my bathroom reading material. So that way we can work safely without the water splashing everywhere. After that's turned off, we're going to take off the lid to the tank, remove any items that you have in there. After that, we are going to drain out the tank by flushing it. See, that's a double flush. And then the tank is removed, and you just jostle out the remaining water so that way you're not walking in it. This is where you can't be squeamish because you got to get out the toilet water. But what I've done is I flushed it, and before you guys were here, I actually dumped a bucket of water in there to clear out as much of the pee water as I can. And then you get a little bit of water that's in here with a smaller cup, but you don't have to get it all out because there is a sewer trap within the toilet. If you don't know what a sewer trap is, it's to hold out the sewer gases from infiltrating from the home through the toilet, so that's why there's always a little bit of standing water. I'm going to cut the caulk so that way I can score it, and the next step would be to remove the nuts from the existing bolts of the toilet to the floor. So as you can see, I scored it. I want to do it twice just to ensure that I have a nice good line cut. It doesn't have to be too strong because all it is caulk, which is basically almost like a glue. And you remove the pot. Now this is the real gross part. If there's anything that's on the piping itself, you have to remove it. And that's where fecal matter comes in, so you need to be careful. You see the grossness in there? Doesn't matter if you get the cleaning product on there. And what I'm doing is making sure that the surface is prepped and clean for me, so that way all my new product will stick and adhere correctly. As you'll see, it's a dual flush high efficiency toilet. This is going to save me money. And this is the flushing mechanism and all the hardware that you're going to need. This is the new seat, and this is our new pot. And then what you do is you just put it around the hole. Carefully lift the toilet, flip it, get the screws through the holes, sit and seal the wax ring to the gasket there, and that's going to create the seal. And after that, I'm going to put the nuts right through the screws, and then that will mount the toilet. And then after of which, I'm going to install the tank to the toilet and reestablish water supply, and put a bead of caulk around the perimeter for decorative, but also to help keep a seal around the toilet, but also to help keep a little bit more security, so that way if you sit on it too aggressively, it doesn't move. The washers are there to put in between the toilet and the nuts to apply equalized pressure, so that way you don't crack the porcelain. So this is where I tighten it up. I've done it by hand, but you gotta be careful not to tighten it too much. Stuff that controls the flushing from 1.6 to 1.1. And then this is the gasket seal, so that way it seals it to the toilet right up there. Alright, so we're going to caulk the perimeter. And always have a wet rag, because you're going to use that rag to actually smooth it all out and clean it up. And remember, I already cleansed the surface, so the surface is prepped. And I will apply a bead of caulk, ugly at first. I just want to fill it in and It's a good generous portion, and you'll wash off the excess with your wet thumb and rag. And now this is the part where you wet your fingers, and we're going to smooth it all out and wipe off the excess on a rag that you will throw away. And we're going to use the other rag to do cleanup of the excess around the perimeters. Now that I've got that done, I'm just going to use the other rag from earlier and just clean up the perimeters. And just like that, you got a beautifully installed toilet.